So hi everybody, this is our GSAC virtual meeting recap of the February 14th meeting, and Teresa's gonna take it away.
Okay, so let's see, what did we talk about? So since our last meeting, we made a YouTube channel that we're now using to post all of the videos of these recap virtual meetings. And they're all closed captioned, and you can find them at that bit.ly link, bit.ly/GSAC YouTube. And we started a search for a new secretary, and now we have one, and her name is Marina. And we're very excited to have her on board. And I met with Twyla about the upcoming Board of Trustees meeting, which is going to happen at the beginning of March. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So for the Board of Trustees meeting, I'll be presenting along with Karen, who is the Vice President of the Doctoral Student Association. And together we have 5 minutes to present before the board and just talk about what our organizations have been doing and what grad students need to better exist and be grad students. So this is just a draft of what I came up with that we would talk about, which basically just discusses, GSAC's purpose, that we exist to provide representation for all graduate students to RIT leadership. And sort of one of the issues in the past has been sometimes GSAC is very small, and it's a very small number of people speaking for all of the graduate students at RIT at large. And our goal this year has been to increase representation and awareness of our organization. So some of the progress that we made, we've added that anonymous submission form that people can use to submit questions or concerns to us anonymously. We started hosting these virtual meetings and also posting videos of those online. We hosted a town hall meeting in fall, planning to do another one in spring. And we have membership in GSAC from all the colleges at RIT. So the theme of what we're going to talk about at our presentation at the Board of Trustees meeting is that grads need various kinds of support in order to succeed. One kind of support they need is sort of like professional support. So they need the opportunity to attend conferences, either to present their work or for networking. And they also need graduate level professional development. So we're going to talk about how sometimes there's a lack of travel funding, or that there is travel funding, but it can be difficult to access because you have to get it from like a bunch of different sources, or you have to have huge upfront costs where you pay for everything and then that gets reimbursed later, and how that can really make it very difficult for grads to travel to conferences and things. So it's kind of like not only does that funding have to exist, but it has to be accessible. And we'll also talk about how people who plan to enter academia and industry have separate needs, and sort of the need for someone at Career Services who's familiar with both of these and is ready to like help graduate level students with their job hunting. And then sort of the other theme is grads needing support at RIT, and how there needs to be a community of graduate students kind of supporting each other and also networking together. So a lot of programs at RIT are very small, which means even in your own program, you might not know other grad students, and you definitely don't interact with grad students in other programs. So the solutions that we'd like to see for these issues include, there's an RIT graduate program endowed fund, which can provide students with resources for research or for travel for research. So we'd like to see increased funding there. And also we'd like to expand on DSA's efforts and have sort of semesterly social and networking events for all grad students. But we require co-sponsorship from other organizations to make those possible. So that's the message right now. We're still working on developing our presentation, and then we'll be presenting that to the board beginning of March. So one of the other things we talked about at our meeting was the 3-minute presentation competition. We were wondering when the individual colleges will be hosting their competitions. And I think that's supposed to be before spring break. So by spring break, everybody should have had their own individual college competitions. And then the semifinal will be sometime, so actually we just heard it's probably going to be March 26th will be the semifinal, and then the final, it's happening April 23rd. So what we need to do is come up with a list of potential judges for all of these separate competitions. And we're hoping to contact those people within the next 2 weeks so that we have time to hear back from them, and maybe find new people if we have to. Oh, and we also discussed the need for some kind of shuttle or transportation to take people to the final, because it's going to be downtown at the Science Museum. And we're still looking into options that we can do for that. And then we also discussed drafting the financial transparency policy that we talked about before. Everybody liked the idea of having like a cover letter to explain the reasons why we want this policy, and then the actual policy language itself. But we're still going to be working on drafting this over the coming weeks, and then hopefully we'll have something to present to Twyla soon. And then our next meeting will be actually probably not this Friday. We're probably going to not meet this week because we're basically just working on drafting this policy and kind of waiting on other people to coordinate things for the 3-minute presentation competition. So I don't think we'll have anything to talk about at like a full meeting this week.
Great. Are there any questions or concerns anybody wants to bring up? Oh, and I'll stop the recording so they can be off the record. Thanks for coming.